Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week one of Go Healthy. I hope everyone is having a good Monday so far, a good start to your week. Uh, as you can see here on the PowerPoint slide here, we are on week one of 12. Remember, last week was considered to be the introduction course. Also, as you can see, your first tracker is due today, of course, as we talked about last week. That tracker is optional. You're not required to submit that. Again, there's several purposes. One is it helps you track the fundamentals that we will be going through throughout the course. And number two, it's a great form of accountability. And number three, it kind of helps me keep a pulse on the class and see how everything is going. But again, it is optional for you if you do want to track that, okay? Also, I do have everyone's mic on mute, so if you'd like to ask a question or comment, you can always unmute your mic. Of course, I do have the chat feature available as well that you can send chats also, okay? We will go ahead and get started. Of course, as I go along, definitely don't hesitate to chime in on things or interrupt me. I can definitely answer any questions that you have. So, what we're going to do today is we'll start off discussing the success that you had from last week's action steps. We will then start off after that introducing the My Plate Food Guide. And if you remember last week, we talked about the focus or the purpose of the class was to really teach you more about sustainable eating habits. Okay. And we pull that information from the dietary guidelines for Americans and the My Plate Food Guide. Okay. So we're going to kind of give you a little bit more of an introduction to that and how you can navigate the website because it's such a great wealth of information. And then we're going to discuss the third fundamental of the class. Remember, we're taking a targeted approach. Last week, we talked about the first two fundamentals out of the five. Remember, the first one was the guide to smart food choices. The second was water intake. Okay. So today we're going to talk specifically about the third, which is going to be your fruits and your veggies. Uh, then we're going to assign the week's action steps. We're going to introduce next week's topic and next week's tracker, just kind of tell you what that will look like. And we will finish up answering any questions that you might have. Okay. All right. So last week's action steps, there was kind of two parts here, and that focused or targeted the two fundamentals. The first thing was using the guide to smart food choices. If you do recall, the guide to smart food choices helps you control your calories by selecting foods within all the five food groups based on its calorie density with no restricted foods or calorie counting. Remember, we said uh, that calorie density was the amount of calories in a certain amount of weight or volume of food. Okay. So using the guide, okay, we talked about cleaning out your environment of those red or those occasional foods and then stocking up more on those green or anytime foods and those yellow and portion controlled foods. We also talked about when it looks at consumption, consume most of your foods from the green or the anytime category. Consume moderate amounts of your foods from the yellow or the portion controlled category. And lastly, consume very limited amounts of foods from the red or the occasional food category. All right. Now, I have a question. If anyone is interested in answering this either through a chat or unmuting yourself, uh, if you're comfortable in doing this. And the question is, how did you use the guide to smart food choices? So, how did you use the guide to smart food choices? If you want to share anything, again, you can unmute your mic. You can send a chat. I think somebody came off mute. Let me see. Right. Any takers on that question? Oh, I think we might have a chat. No, it's not a chat. It's AI. Okay, yeah, we got a chat. Jim said the way that he used the guide to smart food choices is really eliminating most of that red group. Yeah, because that red group is typically the highest calorie content based on its weight of food. Typically, is higher in fat, less water, and less fiber. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. And if that chat pops up, I will grab it when it comes through. Got another one from Stephanie. She said she replaced the red group with the green. Yeah. And that's a good way, not only like Jim said, by eliminating or restricting most of the red group, but also making that switch or that replacement of those red foods and switching and replacing it more with those greens and those yellows. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, again, if those chats pop up, I will grab it when it comes through. So moving forward, uh, is using your guide to smart food choices. Okay. Which takes us to the second action step that we talked about last week, and it was the second fundamental, which is your water intake, which is your water intake. Oh, okay. We yep, we got two more chats. Jim said he couldn't eat all of my red group. Yeah, definitely that's a laugh out loud. You definitely wouldn't want to eat all of those. Shelly said it's been a crazy week. She focused more on the water intake. Good, which is a good segue into this action step or this fundamental. Of course, with our program, we have set a just a general rule of thumb goal of 64 ounces of water per day. Of course, if that's not attainable for you right now, you can set yourself a different goal and work toward that. Okay. So, my question is, what strategy did you use to increase your water consumption? Remember last week we talked about some different strategies. For me, my strategy is I have a 20-ounce container, and my goal is by the time I get off work at the end of the workday is to drink that, at least 3 times. Okay. And of course, I have it right in front of me. Okay. Ted said he filled up his cup at the office 3 times during the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Jim said he has a 32-ounce container and he drank 3 of those. Okay, and Penny said she added unsweetened tea to help reach her goal. And Penny, I'm right there with you. I don't know if you can see with this distorted thing, but I'm drinking my unsweet tea, which I do when I get home at night. Yeah, yeah. Shelly said she took an empty half-gallon milk jug, cleaned it out, and filled it up every morning. Mm-hmm. Hey, Crystal said she bought a 33-ounce water bottle and she refilled it. Megan has a Bubba keg. She carries around a 50-ounce Bubba keg with her daily and usually fills it up 3 to 4 times a day. I think you're winning the prize so far, Megan, with the ounces. Anyone else wants to mention any strategy you use to increase your water consumption? Yeah, yeah. Susan said uh, she fills a 64-ounce water container each day. Yeah, and Jason said he made sure that the bottle of water was always close by. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, and Julia said she has a 40-ounce container. She fills it up twice per day. Perfect. All right. Well, if any more comments come through, I will pick them up here. But again, just like the last fundamental of the guide to smart food choices, you have this second fundamental of your water intake. Oh, and yeah, Debbie said she has a 30-ounce Stanley. Uh, she puts in her way, so she has to pick it up. Plus, the Stanley 30-ounce container is a good weapon of self-defense too. Okay. Casey said it's true that room temperature water is better than cold. No, not really. There's no significant thing. The reason well, actually, they will say that cold water may be better, just slightly, because your body has to heat that cold water up to your body temperature. Therefore, it requires a little calories, but it's so insignificant it doesn't matter. So, room temp versus cold temp water, it's no significance difference really between any. Okay, good question. All right, well, thank y'all very much, which is now taking us to the My Plate Food Guide. Okay, we're going to give you an introduction of that, and you may have seen this before. It's just a great tool. So it was developed by the USDA, and it is an educational tool that illustrates the 5 food groups. And that's your fruits, your veggies, your grains, your proteins, and your dairy. And as you can see here on the PowerPoint, you can go to myplate.gov, go to their website, which we are shortly. I'm going to show you how to navigate that. And you can learn a wealth of information toward making healthy choices within all the 5 food groups. Now, the purposes of the My Plate, there's kind of 4 here. Number 1, it does give you a visual cue or tool to build a healthy plate with the 5 food groups. Number 2, it's a helpful way to focus on portion sizes of each food group. So you can see with your food groups, especially the 4 on your plate, how you can portion those out. Okay. And number 3, it helps you make better choices with 5 food groups via the My Plate tips, which is what we're going to really focus on with these food groups, is using those My Plate tips to help guide your choices. Okay. And we're going to be going through those not only today with the fruits and vegetables, but next week with the proteins, grains, and dairy. And then lastly, it helps you create a personalized plan. And you're going to see that when I pull this up. Okay. Which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to pull up the myplate.gov website. Hopefully everybody can see this here. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this for the sake of time here. But if you look under this Eat Healthy tab, it tells you what is My Plate, and it'll, of course, give you information that I just told you. It will then, you can go through specifically every food group that you want to learn more about. It will give you specific information based on your age group. It'll talk about different fruits. It'll talk about different vegetables, different grain sources, protein foods, dairy, how to eat healthy on a budget. And I know that's an important topic for people. So again, under Eat Healthy, you can learn so much more about each food group. Also, it breaks it down into life stages, which can be helpful, especially if you have little ones or if you have teens. It's a wealth of information. Families. Also, it has a tab of resources. Okay, you can go under different tools that it offers here. And if you go under tools, let me just show you this. Under tools, this is where you can go to the My Plate plan. Okay. And of course, I know everyone can read, but it says the My Plate plan shows your food group targets, what and how much to eat within your calorie allowance. Your food plan is personalized based on your age, sex, height, weight, and physical activity. So you can generate your plan right here. Okay. It's called the My Plate plan. And again, it's under resources and tools. All right. And then lastly, this is really good. You can go to the My Plate kitchen. You can go to recipes because people always ask about how can I make healthy dishes? Well, this really helps you, and you can specify this. It has recipes for SNAP, specifically with the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Now, it also breaks it down into different courses. So if you want to learn about main dishes, you can click on that. If you want to learn about beverages, snacks, sandwiches, condiments, soups, and stews, you can actually click on this thing, different breakfast. So if I click on breakfast, it's going to give you all these recipes for a breakfast. And then when you click on that, it's going to break down the nutritional value, the instructions on how to prepare this, etc. Also, another good thing, you can focus on the food group. So today we're going to talk about fruits and vegetables. You can click on eat more fruits and vegetables, and it can give you information about that. Also, you can go to specific nutrients. So if you want to reduce your sodium in your diet, there you go. Then it will break down specifically if you want to look at food groups. It talks about cooking equipment, and it also talks about cuisine, different like ethnic groups, etc. So it's called the My Plate Kitchen tab. Great source of information for everyone. So hopefully you'll have a chance to peruse that when you get an opportunity. So I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to pull back up our PowerPoint presentation here. If I can find it. There you go. It may take a second to load. And now what we're going to do, this is where we're going to look at your fruits and your veggies. Yep, it's not pulling up for me yet. Let me try it one more time. All right, it should pop up. Well, it said it was. Let me try another route. Yeah, I think it's working now. Technology is phenomenal, good and bad. Okay, so now that's going to take us, like I said, to the fruits and vegetables, and that's the target for the week, okay, is our fruits and vegetables. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the benefits of consuming fruits and vegetables, what the goal of fruits and vegetables will be, and then I'm going to break down specifically the fruits and then the tips on how to increase your fruits, and then I'm going to specifically break down vegetables and ways that you can increase your veggies. Okay, so we're going to start off first with the health benefits associated to eating a diet rich in your fruits and vegetables. And as you can see here, they're naturally low in calories, saturated fat. As you may know, saturated fat is that harmful fat that can increase your risk of developing heart disease, etc. Also, they're naturally low in sodium. They're cholesterol free. Plant sources have no cholesterol. You will find those in animal sources. They're a rich source of fiber, water, vitamins, and minerals. And fiber is extremely important because dietary fiber can help control, help lower your cholesterol levels. It can also help with bowel movements. It can give you a sense of fullness, etc. It also helps with that gut health that you hear a lot about these days. Also, a diet rich in fruits and vegetables can lower your blood pressure. They can reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke. They can prevent some forms of cancer, can lower your risk of digestive problems, can have a positive effect upon your blood sugar. So if you're someone who has a type of diabetes, your fruits and your vegetables can have a positive effect on your blood sugar. And they also can promote weight loss, especially I think with one of the chats when you can replace a lot of those high calorie red foods with a lot more of your veggies and your fruits. Okay, so that's the benefits here. Now, with fruits and vegetables, our general goal for the program is to consume at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. If you want to break that out, in general, it would be 2 fruits and 3 vegetables. Okay. Now, the key to success with your fruits and your vegetables to reach this 5 a day goal is number one, to plan ahead. Plan ahead. And that includes planning your meals out to incorporate those fruits and vegetables. Also, shop accordingly to that meal plan that you made. And even you can go to the point of meal prepping some of these vegetables, some of these fruits for upcoming meals during the week. Another key to success is to aim for color and variety. Aim for color and variety of your fruits and your vegetables. And one more key to success, and this is a good little eating pattern. It's called the 1-2-2 eating pattern. And you can just see an example. Of course, you can manipulate this ever how you want to, but an example would be like for breakfast, you can eat one fruit serving. For lunch, you can eat one fruit serving and one veggie serving, and then dinner, 2 servings of vegetables, which would give you 5 a day. Again, you can manipulate this ever how you want to. So it's called the 1-2-2 eating pattern for your fruits and your vegetables. So that's the keys to success in general for your fruits and vegetables. Now let's break the fruits down and let's break the vegetables down. Okay. And then learn some tips on how to increase those. And as I go along, if you have questions, shoot me a chat or unmute your mic. So the fruits. Now, if you're looking at your program booklet, it is on page 7 and page 8. But again, you can go to the myplate.gov website. You can go under that Eating Healthy tab, select fruits, and it's going to give you a wealth of information, not only what we're going to kind of generally look at today, but just a wealth of information. And again, you can go to the My Kitchen tab and learn more about the preparation of fruits if you like to go beyond eating fruits just in their natural state. Okay. So the goal of fruits in general is 2 servings a day. 1 serving of a fruit equals 1 cup of fruit or 100% fruit juice or half a cup of dried fruit. Also, the My Plate tip, like we were talking about a little bit earlier when I gave you the purposes of the My Plate tip. One that we talked about, which is really important, is to allow you to make healthy choices by really applying those tips from My Plate. And the My Plate tip for fruits is to focus on whole fruits, saying at least half should come from whole fruits rather than 100% fruit juice. Now, I wanted to give you an example of why they want you to focus more on whole fruits versus fruit juices. I gave you an example of 1 large orange. 1 large orange has about 86 calories. And look at the fiber. It has 4.4 grams of dietary fiber, which is very important. Okay. And then you have the orange juice. So if you drink a cup of orange juice, the calorie content goes up by 40 more calories. Plus, you can see the dietary fiber is void. It's 0. So it has been removed. So that's one of the reasons why it's very important to try to get your whole fruits more than your fruit juices. Okay. Let me see. Catherine says, can we choose fruit juice, not from concentrate? Yes, you can, Catherine. You can. Man, AI is really busy here. All right. Also, with your fruits, recommendation under My Plate, not only focusing on whole fruits, but choose fresh often. Also, good alternatives for fruits are frozen, dried, and canned in its own juice without added sugars. And the way that you can see if it doesn't have added sugars, you can look at the food label. Under total carbohydrates, it'll have a thing that says added sugars. And if it says 0 grams or a 0% daily value, that means it does not have added sugars, which is very important. And we're going to have a session during this 13 weeks where we're going to decode food labels for you. Okay. So that's a quick rundown on your fruits. Any questions on your fruits before I give you tips to increase fruits? Okay, and if that chat pops up, I will grab it. So some tips to increase fruits here. Number 1, keep it on hand. So therefore, when you plan out your meals, to incorporate fruits, you write it down and you shop accordingly. So keep it on hand. Also include it at breakfast. And then that was part of that 1-2-2 eating pattern we talked about. You can blend it into smoothies. That's a good way as well. You can take it on the go, and you also can enjoy it as a snack, which I think is very good. That would be a great replacement for those potato chips or that candy bar or something like that. Also, you can add fruit to salads, which I love. And then lastly, you can have fruit at dinner. So again, these are just some basic tips on how to increase your fruits. All right. Which now is going to take us to our vegetables. This is on page 7 and page 8 of your booklet. Again, you can go to that myplate.gov website, go into that Eat Healthy tab, click on vegetables, and again, you're going to learn this information plus a whole wealth of information. And it's even going to break down all kind of different vegetables, okay? So the general goal for vegetables is 3 servings per day. 1 serving equals 1 cup raw or cooked vegetables, or 100% vegetable juice, or 2 cups of raw leafy greens. Now, just like your fruits, it's best to choose fresh often, but good alternatives would be frozen and canned without the added salt. And then here comes that My Plate tip. And the My Plate tip with your vegetables is to vary your vegetables with the 5 subgroups. And the subgroups, as you can see, would be like your dark green. They always say eat your green vegetables every day. They're very important. They're packed with nutrients and antioxidants, etc. That would be things like your broccoli and your raw leafy greens. Also, your red veggies would be things like tomatoes, your orange. They kind of put that under 2 subgroups together. So red would be tomatoes, example. Oranges would be things like carrots. You then have your beans, peas, and lentils. Examples of those would be your black beans and black-eyed peas. You then have the subgroup of your starchy vegetables, things like corn and potatoes. And then you have your what they call the other vegetables like asparagus and cauliflower, bell pepper, et cetera, et cetera. Again, you can go to that My Plate tab, click on vegetables, open up all these subgroups, and it's going to show you a lot more vegetables that are within this each one of these subgroups. Okay, so the ways that you can increase your vegetables here is you can include those at breakfast. I think some good examples like would be like an omelet. An omelet, if you eat an omelet, you can pack it full of things like onions and bell peppers, maybe some little things of broccoli, something like that. So you can add those vegetables to your breakfast. You also can blend vegetables into your smoothie. I know a lot of people will do things like spinach. You can also take vegetables on the go, especially the little cut ones like carrots, like celery, like bell pepper and cucumbers. So you can take those on the go. You can enjoy those as a snack. So again, instead of eating that candy bar or potato chips, bring you a little baggie of some fresh cut vegetables and you'll make a world of difference, not only with calories, but what you're consuming health wise as well. Also, you can spruce up the sandwich. You can take a sandwich and you can add a bunch of different vegetables to that, like tomatoes, like lettuce, like onions, whatever you like on your sandwiches. You also can add a variety to your salads. Now just be careful with salads. Salads are great, but salads can also be a big calorie trap for people, especially if they add, cheese, croutons, bacon bits, really high calorie dressings. Okay, so just be aware of different things like that. You also can add different sauces. So let's just say, I know with me and my wife, if we make like a tomato sauce, we add extra onions in it. We'll add bell peppers in it to give it some more vegetables. Also, you can try stir fry. That's a good example, good way. You can also make vegetable-based soups. And then lastly, you can replace pasta noodles with vegetable noodles. One of my wife and I's go-to meals is a spaghetti squash instead of noodles. And that's basically our noodles for our spaghetti. Okay, So again, tips to increase your vegetables right there. So does anybody have any questions or comments on the vegetables or even the fruits before we get to our action steps for the week? Okay. And again, if that chat pops up, I will grab it when it comes through there. So our action steps for the week. Number one is still to continue your guide to smart food choices. Up. I've got a question. Casey said, I do. You have a question, Casey? If you do, just type it or you can unmute it and I'll grab it when it pops up. So, your action step for the week is to continue to use your guide to smart food choices. Also, to continue to consume your water. If 64 ounces is not quite a smart goal for you right now, just set a smart goal for you and work toward that. And then this week specifically, we're targeting the fruits and the vegetables. Our goal is 5 servings a day. If you want to break it down, 2 fruits, 3 vegetables. Use that My Plate tip. With fruits, focus on whole fruits, and vegetables, vary your vegetables. Now, if 5 servings a day is not attainable for you right now, that's okay. Make something that's attainable to you and work toward it. Casey said, when using pea protein, do you count it as a vegetable or protein? Actually, you can count it as both. Things like your peas, your beans, and your lentils are very unique. They can be counted as a under the vegetable food group, but they also can be counted under the protein food group. Great question. Yeah. Beans, peas, and lentils are very unique. They fall under 2 groups. Good question. All right, so that's your action steps for the week, which now takes us to next week's topic. We're going to look at the 4th fundamental of the program, which is looking at the other 3 food groups. So your grains, your proteins, and your dairy. And also something that we call meal replacements, which is optional. Okay. And tomorrow I will email everybody that optional tracker if that's what you want to keep up with. And you're going to see on that optional tracker is going to add the targeted fruits and vegetables. Okay. And also, in about 1 to 2 days, once I get this recording transferred over to a YouTube recording, I will send it out to everybody so you can view that. So, does anybody have any questions or comments before we go for the day? Yeah, Casey, every week I do send that tracker out. So last Tuesday morning, I did send that tracker out. And I will send it out tomorrow. And again, it's optional for everybody. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I also will say I do know I had a few people who I think 2 numbers that called in. If you want to make sure you get counted toward attendance, make sure you email me after class with your name and the number that you called from so I can line that up. Okay. So just the 2 numbers that called in. Other than that, I can see everybody else.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Well, y'all have a good night.